So we now know how to use our long division. We're going to just look at a couple details just to extend what we've already talked about. Okay, so I've already set us up a problem here. We have x cubed minus 1, and we're going to divide that by x minus 1. So we set up our division. I'm going to go x minus 1, and we're dividing x cubed minus 1. Okay, pretty basic, simple problem, right? All right, how do I get x to look like x cubed? I need to multiply by x squared. So x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to subtract. So I change those signs. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. Negative 1 plus x squared. My variables aren't lining up here. I have a constant and I have an x squared. It's doable. We can work our way around it. They're not like terms. Let's just keep them separate. But there is a way to assist us with this situation. Okay? What we're missing here in our x cubed is we don't have an x squared power and we don't have an x. Okay? We're missing those two variables. So what we need is a placeholder, something to put my x squared there. So when we have these missing powers, when we set up our division problem, I'm going to say x cubed plus 0 x squared. I'm just adding 0, but now I have x squared. I have that variable. I also have a 0x. I need that variable. And then I've got minus 1. When we're missing variables, we have to fill in that spot to help us organize our thoughts. Again, right now, I could work my way around it. But here in a bit, it's going to be a lot harder to do so. Okay? And now, when I have my x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. And when I subtract, now my variables are lined up. We've avoided that issue. So now I have 0 here, an x squared, and I'm going to drop my 0x. Okay? Process doesn't change. We're just using these placeholders for our missing variables. How do I get x to look like x squared? I need a positive x. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. And when I subtract, I change my signs. So I get 0 here, x here, and I drop my negative 1. How do I get x to match x? I'm going to multiply by a positive 1. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. When I subtract, I change my signs, and I get 0, 0. So my solution is x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, so what we just learned here is placeholders. When we're missing variables, we have to put in a placeholder when we're dividing. Okay, cool. So we're going to take our long division and we're just going to work with a little bit of a harder problem. Okay, doesn't change the process, it's just a different example. So let's take a look at that. Now, instead of dividing by a linear binomial, we are going to be dividing by a quadratic trinomial. Okay? So here is my example. 12x cubed minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18. And I am dividing by 3x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay. So the only thing that's changing is we're now dividing by a trinomial, 3 terms, and it's a quadratic. Nothing else changes, literally. Okay? So we set up our problem. So our divisor, 3x squared minus 5x plus 6. And we are dividing 12x cubed minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18. Okay, if you want to, go ahead and just push pause right now and work through the problem. It really hasn't changed a whole lot. Come back and see how you did. So, I'm still going to ask, how do I get 3x squared to look like 12x cubed? I'm going to multiply by 4x. 4x times 3x squared is 12x cubed. 4x times negative 5 is negative 20x squared. 4x times 6 is 24x. So what happened here is when we distribute, we have to distribute back to 3 terms instead of just 2. But that's not harder than what we've already been doing, just a little bit longer. So when I subtract, I'm going to change my signs. I get 0, 9x squared minus 15x plus 18. Okay? So how do I get 3x squared to look like 9x squared? I need to multiply by a positive 3. So 3 times 3x squared is 9x squared. 3 times negative 5x is negative 15x. And 3 times 6 is a positive 18. When I come in and subtract, I change my signs. And I get 0, 0, 0. No remainder. So our 3x squared minus 5x plus 6 is a factor of our polynomial, as is our 4x plus 3. So here, we're dividing by a quadratic instead of a linear expression. That's the really cool thing about long division. Long division always works. We can always use long division. But is there a shortcut? Check back for our next video and you'll find out.